Shocking case of medical apathy. Bodies of two COVID patients were discovered more than a year after their deaths during the first wave of COVID-19. Bodies were found in a decomposed state in an old mortuary building in Bengaluru's ESI government hospital on the 27th of November when the housekeeping staff went in to clean after complaints of stench. The tags on the bodies revealed that the patients had died in July 2020. Their bodies had been rotting in the mortuary ever since. The victims have been identified as 42-year-old Durga and 68-year-old Muniraju. Family members of both the victims were in a state of shock when they were asked to come and identify their loved ones after 15 months of their passing away.
15 month ಆಗಿದೆ 15 month ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಂಬಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆ ನಂಬಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆ ಥರ ಆಗೋಗಿತ್ತು ನನಗೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ BBMP ಅವರು ಅವಳು ಸತ್ತು BBMP ಅವರು ಸತ್ತು ಒಂದು ವೀಕಲ್ಲೇ ಇದು ಅಂತ್ಯಕ್ರಿಯೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರು ಆಯಿತಾ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದರು ಅವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯಿತು ನಾವು ಕಾರ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಏನೋ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂದರು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನರು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಿರ್ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯದಿಂದ ಬೇಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಿಂದ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಲು ನಮಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ
ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬನ್ನಿ ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ 1.25 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯಿತು ಹಂಗಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ ಟ್ಯಾಗಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರಿದೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನೆ ಬಂದು ನೀವು ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಮಾತಾಡಿ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಿರ್ಲಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಅಂತಲೇ ನಮಗೆ ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ 3 ಜನ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಗಂಡ್ಮಕ್ಳು ಯಾರೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದು ಏನು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗಾಯ್ತು ಇನ್ಮೇಲಾದರೂ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಸಾಕು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊತೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಹೇಳೋದು ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿ.
Meanwhile, even as there has been gross negligence on the part of the hospital staff, the health department and Bengaluru civic body BBMP, none of the departments are willing to own up. BBMP in fact shifting the blame to the hospital staff.
ಪತ್ರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಇದು ಲೇಬರ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ESI ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಲೇಬರ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ರಾಜಾಜಿನಗರದ ESI ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗಾದ ESI ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ ಈ ಎರಡೂ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗಳು ನನ್ನ ಇಲಾಖೆ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆ. ಅದು ಎರಡು ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊರತುಪಡಿಸಿದರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಾಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ESI ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲು ನನ್ನ ಇಲಾಖೆ ವ್ಯಾಪ್ತಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ಕಾರವಾಗಿ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯಿಂದ ಪಲಾಯನ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಥ ಒಂದು ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆದಾಗ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಅದರ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಿರ್ದೇಶನ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೂಚನೆ ಕೊಡಿ.
All right, well, that was the reaction there coming in as far as this entire incident is concerned. But this is the hospital that discovered 2 dead bodies after over a year. These 2 COVID patients' bodies were found in the mortuary, and apparently nobody knew that the bodies were there until the stench started coming in from the mortuary. And only when the hospital staff went to check out what it was, that is when they found the bodies over there. In fact, the bodies were obviously in a decomposed state. It was more than 15 months ago that the patients had in fact died. The tags on the bodies revealed that the patients died in July 2020. The family members of the victims were asked to then come and identify the bodies as well. So those are some details. Meanwhile, there is a lot of shifting the blame that is going on as far as the civic body, the hospital staff and others are concerned as over this entire incident. Those are the details here. In fact, the families are also questioning the government's negligence. The state government denies the negligence and instead is passing the buck. This is the situation as far as this instance is concerned. This is on Saturday where this was discovered. Neha joining us for more details. Neha, if you can take us through what really happened here in terms of when these patients had, or the families were told 15 months ago that these patients had, their family members have died. Were they then handed over the wrong bodies and these bodies are now being discovered?
Well, in fact, since these were COVID patients, in both the cases, the families were only allowed to see the mortal remains of their loved ones at the hospital on the promise that the final rites would be carried out by the BBMP or by the civic body authorities. And it was, in fact, a very unfortunate state of affairs when this family was called on Saturday, being told that the final rites were not carried out and that the bodies were still found in the mortuary of the hospital itself. So, in a sense, what we understand is that while, in this case, the families were promised that the final rites would be conducted, they were never really conducted by the civic body.
All right, Neha, thank you so much for joining us with those details.